We are joined here today by, or should I say now, formerly men's soccer head coach Ben Cooper. Coach, thanks for coming and joining us here today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's get started. Hey, congratulations. A great coaching career at Chaffey, obviously, 2006 to 2021. In that time, you secured 4 conference championships, 4 times voted coach of the year by your peers, 5 conference MVPs, 5 All-Americans. I have to ask, with all the accolades that you achieved and your team, what would you say, what do you believe was your greatest accomplishment?
It's a good question. I think it's more than just, I think, just an individual conference championship or a certain kid, getting an All-American award or MVP. I guess on a bigger scale, I think the biggest accomplishments for myself and for our program is just seeing these kids, go to the next level and continue with school, even if it's not to play soccer, at the 4-year level, even if it's just to stay and finish their degree. I think we've had a lot of those stories, and I think those are probably the most special to me. Kids that may have not even, school wasn't even an option for them.
Sure.
And they find themselves walking and actually graduating. So I think that's probably my number one right there.
Of course. And you said it right and straight on. And I think that's what I personally believe separates the good coaches and the great coaches, particularly at our level, right? In which, as you mentioned, it's not just about the personal accolades or the team accolades, but it's having the coach that cares about where the student athlete is going to go to next. And you said it again, it's not whether they continue to become a student athlete at the next level, but what's most important is the fact that they're pursuing something greater.
Greater.
Yeah. So, a job or something like that. And that's how important athletics is to kids, to these young men and women. And I'm glad you said that, because that's something that's constantly being talked about in our circle, right? About, it's not just out there kicking a ball through a goalpost. There's an entirely big thing that's
a little bit more than that.
There's a lot more than that. It's not just about the trophies or the medals or any of that, but it's, molding these kids into future leaders, right?
Yeah.
Hey, are there any specific games that you remember at the top of your head that makes you smile when you think about it?
Yeah, I think so. I would say a couple games really jump out at me. Some years ago, I'm not even sure when it was, but we played Santa Barbara in a playoff game, and it had been raining, and it was just kind of one of those games. It was going to be ugly.
Yeah.
And it was a big playoff game against a really good team. And we were down 2-0 at the half. And I just remember, asking our guys at halftime, hey, first thing, can we win this game? And, everyone's, yeah. We got this, 2-0 in soccer. 2-0 is like, they say it's the worst score, right? I mean, obviously you're up, but, it's dangerous because, one goal and you're right back in the game. And we scored early in the second half. We scored towards the end of the game regulation, tied it up 2-2, and then we beat them in overtime 3-2. And it was just one of those. It was a big playoff win.
Yeah.
It's just still gives me goosebumps just thinking about the game. Just the whole game was incredible. And then I think a couple years after that, we were the 1 seed in the playoffs, and we played, one of those years, Mount Sac dropped to the number 8 seed. And so after us getting a first round bye, we met Mount Sac in the second round, and they came to us, and we just an incredible game. Was 0-0, no score in overtime. And we went to PKs, and we ended up losing 5-4 in PKs.
Wow.
And it was just, it was a great game. We had opportunities, they had opportunities, just a battle, one of those games that you could you'd kind of expect to see in the Final Four, maybe.
Sure.
And, and we lost the game, and it was just one of those, losing by PKs is just, in sports, it's just about the worst thing. So, but the game's got to end sometimes. So I think those are two games, that really, stick out, games that I always think about, games that I remember. So I think those two.
Well, it's obviously talking to you about those two games in particular. There's a smile on your face and a joy when you talk about it, right? Obviously, that's going to be embedded with you forever. So what do you think you're going to miss most about coaching?
I've thought about this, over the last, several months when I've been kind of debating whether or not I was going to step away. I think ultimately I'm going to miss the kids. I'm going to miss the kids. And we get all sorts of different kids. We get good kids, we get bad kids, we get, good students, bad students, we get, kids from all over the place. But just seeing them every day and working with them and, trying to guide them, trying to teach them something. I think, kind of a mentor for a lot of kids. Right. And I think just seeing those kids every day at practice or getting a text message from them or, little things like that, I think just seeing them and having these new relationships every single year.
Yeah.
I think I'm really going to miss that. And then obviously I've gotten to be really good friends with my two assistant coaches and who've been with me for quite some time now.
Sure.
And just, we have a really good time. We have a really, really good time together. And, I've talked to them quite a few times, in the last couple months, and we all agree it's just going to be kind of weird. It's going to be kind of different, so I think, like I said, the student athletes, those relationships I'm going to really miss. And then just, hanging out with my assistant coaches, hanging out with my buddies, on a daily basis. I think that's going to be tough. That's definitely going to be tough.
Yeah, no, the interesting thing is, or one of the, I speak to a lot of coaches, right? And every single coach that I've spoken to over at Chaffey, all the coaches have this bond within their assistant coaches, their assistants, volunteers. Each one of them have special relationships with them, and you can tell when you guys speak about them, it's valuable. It's a valuable relationship, right? So, the last 2 years have been difficult, obviously, with all the stuff going on around the world. Kind of like on that same note, and what we're talking about here with your peers, what would you want your peers in your department, the athletic department, whether support staff, counselors, your sports information director, Cheryl, who's absolutely amazing, all the people in the department, what would you like them to remember you by?
It's funny, I've been there quite a while. And so I've seen a lot of turnover, whether it's coaches or athletic directors, our dean. I mean, we've seen a lot of different faces. And I think the one thing that stays, I think we've built this tradition, more or less at Chaffey, just with our soccer programs, both on the men's and women's side. And I think that it was always something you could count on. Mm-hmm. I think we put in the work, whether it's recruiting or whether it's department meetings or fundraising or academic stuff. I think I show up. And I think I've worked pretty hard over the last many years. And I think it's more or less you know what you're going to get. I'm going to come in there. I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to do my best. And so I think that whether they've been there a while or they're new, I think that's probably something that I think that my peers would say, that I show up. I show up to work every day. And there's some great coaches. Our higher ups, our athletic director, our dean, awesome.
Mhm.
They've just been awesome. Even, even in the couple COVID years, they've just
Yeah,
really kept our program afloat and kept our department afloat. And really all the credit goes to them for that.
for sure. Hey, coach, I'd like to give you this chance to leave a message for the next head coach. I'm not quite sure where we are in the process of that. Has there anyone been mentioned, or is this still a search process? Quickly, do you know where we
Yeah,
are?
yeah. It's I try to stay in the loop a little bit, and yeah, it's open right now. I think it
Okay,
closes the middle of February.
got it.
The position does,
Got it.
and so if I'm being honest, I hope my assistant Chris gets it. He's put in a lot of work. He's been with me for the last 9 years, and a couple years as a volunteer, and then he was able to get paid, and then we moved him up to first assistant, and so I'm rooting for him. He knows the level, he knows what it takes. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, and I've definitely put his name out there.
Got it.
And he's really good. He's going to have to come and get it. I think there's going to be some applications, some pretty good
Sure.
applicants for it. But whether it's him who gets it or potentially someone else, I think that they have the support of the department.
Sure.
Dr. Brown is an amazing athletic director, and I mean,
Love her.
she's been her and our dean, Dr. McClellan. They've been absolutely the best things to happen to this department in a long time.
Sure. Well, let me go back to that. If I were to give you an opportunity to leave a message for that next head coach,
Yep.
what piece of advice would you give him or her in order to have the same success as you did? What would be your message to that next coach in line?
I think just in terms of the soccer part, I would say recruit. You got to recruit. If you're not out there and showing your face at games and going to practices and tournaments, and you're not bringing in quality student athletes, quality kids, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. No one likes losing. Losing tends to kind of magnify every sort of issue you have going on.
Of course.
Like they said, winning fixes things, right? But I mean, in the soccer part, I would say you got to get out there and you got to recruit. Just in terms of just, I guess, the certain character kids that you're bringing in, you got to bring in kids that are going to work for your program. You got to be,
Sure.
Kids that are going to show up on time. You got to, kids that are going to finish their classes. They're going to register when you tell them to register. They're going to, you just have to bring in good kids. You have to bring in good kids. And that's a big part of it. Recruit,
Sure.
bring in the right kind of kids you want for your program, I think.
Hey, coach, last question. And again, I appreciate your time. And if we may ask, right, what's next on the agenda for you?
Honestly, what's next? I teach middle school PE, so that's my day job. And then the college soccer coaching was just, kind of something in the afternoon, something competitive, right? I'm competitive. I'm super competitive. And it's really just to stay in the sport and keep doing something that I really love. And what's next for me? I'm going to coach my daughter's AYSO team.
There you go.
She's 6. And so that's my next coaching gig right there.
You got your handful right there.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, Coach Cooper, I thank you for your time. Once again, Coach Cooper, 4-time Coach of the Year. We wish you the best of luck in your next chapter. And please check in with us every once in a while and say hi. We would absolutely love to hear from you. And
Yep.
And again, just my cell number, my email.
Yep.
Let us know what we can do for you. And again, I thank you for your time, and we'll have to keep in touch.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Bo.
Thank you.